Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first half of Zoom Shakespeare's production of King Lear. This is, I believe, oh my gosh, okay, it's getting too hard, 24, 23 in our lineup. We're getting through the canon pretty quickly. Please enjoy King Lear.
I thought the king had more affected the Duke of Albany than Cornwall.
It did always seem so to us, but now in the division of the kingdom, it appears not which of the dukes he values most, for equalities are so weighed that curiosity in neither can make choice of either's moiety.
Is this not your son, my lord?
His breeding, madam, hath been at my charge. I have so often blushed to acknowledge him that now I am raised to it.
I cannot conceive you.
Madam, this young fellow's mother could, whereupon she grew round-wombed and had indeed, ma'am, a son for her cradle, or she had a husband for her bed. Do you smell a fault?
I cannot wish the fault undone, the issue of it being so proper.
But I have a son, ma'am, by order of law, some year elder than this, who yet is no dear in my account. Though this knave came something saucily to the world before he was sent for, yet was his mother fair. There was good sport at his making, and the whoreson must be acknowledged. Do you know this noble gentleman, Edmund?
No, my lord.
My lord of Kent, remember him hereafter as my honorable friend.
My services to your ladyship.
I must love you and sue to know you better.
Ma'am, I shall study deserving.
He has been out 9 years, and away he shall again. The king is coming.
Attend, lords of France and Burgundy. Gloucester?
I shall, my lord.
Meantime, we shall express our darker purpose. Give me the map there. Know that we have divided in three our kingdom, and 'tis our fast intent to shake all cares and businesses from our age, conferring them on younger strengths, while we, unburdened, crawl toward death. Our son of Cornwall, and you, our no less loving son of Albany, we have this hour a constant will to publish our daughter's several dowers, that future strife may be prevented now. The two great princes of France and Burgundy, great rivals in our youngest daughter's love, long in our court have made their amorous sojourn, and here are to be answered. Tell me, my daughters, since now we will divest us both of rule, interest of territory, cares of state, which of you shall we say doth love us most? That we our largest bounty may extend where nature doth with merit challenge. Goneril, our eldest, speak first.
Sir, I love you more than word can wield the matter. Dearer than eyesight, space, and liberty, beyond what can be valued, rich or rare. No less than life, with grace, health, beauty, honor, as much as child e'er loved or father found. A love that makes breath poor and speech unable. Beyond all manner of so much, I love you.
Shall Cordelia speak? Love and be silent.
Of all these bounds, even from this line to this, with shadowy forests and with champions riched, with plenteous rivers and wide-skirted meadows. We make thee lady. To thine and Albany's issue be this perpetual. What says our second daughter, our dearest Regan, wife of Cornwall? Speak.
I am made of that self-metal as my sister, and me at her worth. In my true heart, I find she names my very deed of love. Only she comes too short, that I profess myself an enemy to all other joys which the most precious square of sense possesses, and find I am alone felicited in your dear highness' love.
And poor Cordelia, and yet not so, since I'm sure my love's more ponderous than my tongue.
To thee and thine heredity ever remain this ample third of our fair kingdom, no less in space, validity, and pleasure than that conferred on Goneril. Now, our joy, although our last and least, to whose young love the vines of France and milk of Burgundy strive to interest. What can you say to draw a third more opulent than your sisters? Speak.
Nothing, my lord.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing will come of nothing. Speak again.
And happy that I am, I cannot heave my heart into my mouth. I love your majesty, according to my bond, no more, no less.
Oh, how, Cordelia? Mend your speech a little, lest you may mar your fortunes.
Good, my lord, that you have begot me, bred me, loved me. I return these duties back as right are fit. Obey you, love you, and most honor you. Why have my sisters husbands if they say they love you all? Happily, when I shall wed, that lord whose hand must take my plight shall carry half my love with him. Sure, I shall never marry like my sisters. I love my father all.
But goes thy heart with this?
Aye, my good lord.
So young and so untender?
So young, my lord, and true.
Let it be so. Thy truth then be thy dower, or by the sacred radiance of the sun, the mysteries of Hecate and the night, by all the operation of the orbs, from whom we do exist and cease to be, here I disdain all my paternal care, propinquity, and property of blood, and as a stranger to my heart and me, hold thee from this forever. This barbarous Scythian, or he that makes his generation messes, to gorge his appetite, shall to my bosom be as well neighbored, pitied, and relieved as thou my sometime daughter.
Good, my lord.
A peace, Kent. Come not between the dragon and his wrath. I loved her most, and thought to set my rest on her kind nursery. Hence, and avoid my sight. So be my grave, my peace, as here I give her father's heart from her. Call France, who stirs, call Burgundy, Cornwall and Albany. With my two daughters' dowers digest the third. Let pride, which she calls plainness, marry her. I do invest you jointly with her power, preeminence, and all the large effects that troop with majesty. Self by monthly course, with reservations of 100 knights. By you to be sustained, shall our abode make with you by due turn. Only we shall retain the name and all the addition of a king. Sway, revenue, execution of the rest, beloved sons, be yours. Which to confirm, this coronet part between you.
Royal Lear, whom I have ever honored as my king, loved as my father, as my master followed, as my great patron thought on in my prayers.
The bow is spent and drawn. Make from the shaft.
Let it fall, rather, though the fork invade the region of my heart. Be Kent unmannerly when Lear is mad. What wouldst thou do, old man? Think'st thou that duty shall have dread to speak when power to flattery bows? To plainness honor's bound when majesty falls to folly. Reserve thy state, and in thy best consideration check this hideous rashness. Answer my life, my judgment. Thy youngest daughter doth not love thee least, nor are those empty-hearted whose low sounds reverb no hollowness.
Kent on my life no more.
My life I never held but as a pawn to wage against thine enemies, nor fear to lose it, thy safety being my motive.
Out of my sight.
See better, Lear, and let me still remain the true blank of thy eye.
Now by Apollo
By Apollo, king, thou swearest thy gods in vain.
O vassal miscreant!
Sir.
Forbear.
Kill thy physician, and thy fee bestow upon the foul disease. Revoke thy gift, or whilst I can vent clamor from my throat, I'll tell thee thou dost evil.
Hear me, recreant. On thine allegiance, hear me. That thou hast sought to make us break our vows, which we dost never yet, and with strained pride to come betwixt our sentence and our power, which nor our nature nor our place can bear, of potency made good, take thy reward. 5 days we do allot thee for provisions to shield thee from the disasters of the world, and on the 6th day to turn thy hated back upon our kingdom. If on the 10th day following thy banished trunk be found in our dominions, the moment is thy death. Away by Jupiter, this shall not be revoked.
Fare thee well, king. Sit thus thou wilt appear, freedom lives hence, and banishment is here. The gods to their dear shelter take thee, maid, that justly think'st, and has most rightly said. And your large speeches may your deeds approve, that good effects may spring from words of love. Thus Canto Princess bids you all anew, she'll shape her old course in country new.
Here is France and Burgundy, my noble lord.
We first address toward you, my Lord Burgundy, who with this king hath rivaled for our daughter. What is the least will you require to present dowry with her? Or cease your quest of love?
Most royal majesty, I crave no more than hath your highness offered, nor will you tender less.
Right, noble Burgundy. When she was dear to us, we did hold her so, but now her price has fallen. Sir, there she stands. If aught within that little seeming substance, or of it all, with our displeasure pierced, and nothing more, may flatly like your grace, she's there, and she is yours.
I know no answer.
Will you, with those infirmities she owes, unfriended, new adopted of our hate, dowered with our curse, and strangered with our oath, take her or leave her.
Pardon me, royal sir. Election makes not up in such conditions.
Well, then leave her, sir. For by the power that made me, I tell you all her wealth. For you, great king, I would not from your love make such a strait to match you where I hate. Therefore, I beseech you to avert your liking a more worthier way than a wretch whom nature is ashamed almost to acknowledge hers.
Whom even, this is most strange, that she whom even but now was your best object, the argument of your praise, balm of your age, the best, the dearest, should in this trice of time commit a thing so monstrous to dismantle so many folds of favor? Sure, her offense must be of such unnatural degree that monsters it, or your forward affection fall into taint, which to believe of her must be a faith that reason without miracle should never plant in me.
I yet beseech your majesty, if for I want that glib and oily art to speak and purpose not, since what I well intend I'll do before I speak, that you make known it is no vicious blot, murder or foulness, no unchaste action or dishonored step, that hath deprived me of your grace and favor, but even for want of that for which I am richer, a still soliciting eye, and such a tongue that I'm glad I have not, though not to have it hath lost me in your liking.
Better thou had not been born than not to have pleased me better.
Is it but this, a tardiness in nature which often leaves the history unspoke that it intends to do? My lord of Burgundy, what say you to the lady? Love's not love when it is mingled with regards that stands aloof from the entire point. Will you have her? She is herself a dowry.
Royal king, give but that portion which yourself proposed, and here I take Cordelia by the hand, Duchess of Burgundy.
Nothing. I have sworn I am firm.
I am sorry then. You have so lost a father that you must lose a husband.
Peace be with Burgundy. Since that respect and fortunes are his love, I shall not be his wife.
Fairest Cordelia, that art most rich being poor, most choice forsaken, and most loved despised, thee and thy virtues here I seize upon. Be it lawful, I take up what's cast away. Gods, 'tis strange that from their coldest neglect my love should kindle to inflamed respect. Thy dowerless daughter, king, thrown to my chance, is queen of us, of ours, and our fair France. Not all the dukes of Watriche Burgundy can buy this unprized precious maid of me. Bid them farewell, Cordelia. Though unkind, thou losest here a better where to find.
Thou hast her, France. Let her be thine. For we have no such daughter, nor shall we ever that face of hers again. Therefore be gone. Without our grace, our love, our benison. Come, noble Burgundy.
Bid farewell to your sisters.
The jewels of our father, with washed eyes, Cordelia leaves you. I know what you are, and like a sister am most loath to call your faults as they are named. Love well our father? To your professed bosoms I commit him, but yet alas, stood I within his grace, I would prefer him to a better place. So farewell to you both.
Prescribe not us our duty.
Let your study be to content your lord, who hath received you at fortune's alms. You have obedience scanted, and well are worth the want that you have wanted.
Time shall unfold what plighted cunning hides. Whose covers faults, at last with shame derides. Well may you prosper.
Come, my fair Cordelia.
Sister, it is not little I have to say of what most nearly appertains to us both. I think our father will hence tonight.
That's most certain, and with you. Next month with us.
You see how full of changes his age is. The observation we have made of it hath not been little. He always loved our sister most. And with what poor judgment he hath now cast her off appears too grossly.
'Tis the infirmity of his age. Yet he hath ever but slenderly known himself.
The best and soundest of his time hath been but rash. Then must we look from his age to receive not alone the imperfections of long engraft condition, but therewithal the unruly waywardness that infirm and choleric years bring with them.
Such unconstant starts are we like to have from him as this of Kent's banishment.
There is further compliment of leave taking between France and him. Oh, pray you, let us sit together. If our father carry authority with such disposition as he bears, this last surrender of his will but offend us.
We shall further think of it.
We must do something, and in the heat.
Thou, nature, art my goddess. To thy law my services are bound. Wherefore should I stand in the plague of custom, and permit the curiosity of nations to deprive me, for that I am some 12 or 14 moonshines lag of a brother? Why bastard? Wherefore base? When my dimensions are as well compact, my mind as generous, and my shape as true as honest man's virtue? Why brand they us with base, with baseness, bastardy, base, who in the lusty stealth of nature take more composition and fierce quality than doth within a dull, stale, tired bed go to the creating a whole tribe of fops, got tween sleep and wake? Well then, legitimate Edgar, I must have your land. Our father's love is to the bastard Edmonds as to the legitimate. Fine word, legitimate. Well, my legitimate, if this letter speed and my invention thrive, Edmund the base shall top the legitimate. I grow, I prosper. Now, gods, stand up for bastards.
It, banished thus, and France in choler parted, and the king gone tonight, prescribed his power, confined to exhibition? All this done upon the gad? Edmund, how now? What news?
So please your lordship, none.
Why so earnestly seek you to put up that letter?
I know no news, my lord.
What paper were you reading?
Nothing, my lord.
No? What needed then that terrible dispatch of it into your pocket? The quality of nothing hath not such need to hide itself. Let's see. Come, if it be nothing, I shall not need spectacles.
I beseech you, sir, pardon me, it is a letter from my brother that I have not all o'er read, and for so much as I have perused, I find it not fit for your looking.
Give me the letter, sir.
I shall offend either to detain or give it. The contents, as in part I understand them, are to blame.
Let's see. Let's see.
I hope for my brother's justification he wrote this but as an essay or taste of my virtue.
This policy in reverence of age makes the world bitter to the best of our times, keeps our fortunes from us till our oldness cannot relish them. I begin to find an idle and fond bondage in the oppression of aged tyranny, who sways not as it hath power, but as it is suffered. Come to me, that of this I may speak more. If our father would sleep till I waked him, you should enjoy half his revenue forever and live the beloved of your brother. Conspiracy? Sleep till I wake him? You should enjoy half his revenue. My son Edgar, had he a hand to write this? A heart and brain to breathe it in? When came you to this? Who brought it?
It was not brought me, my lord. There's the cunning of it. I found it thrown in the casement of my chamber.
You know the character to be your brother's?
If the matter were good, my lord, I durst swear it were his, but in respect of that, I would fain it were not.
It is his.
It is his hand, my lord, but I hope his heart is not in the contents.
Has he never before sounded you in this business?
Never, my lord. But I have heard him oft maintain that it be fit, sons at a perfect age and fathers declined, the father should be as ward to the son, and the son should manage his revenue.
Oh, villain, villain! His very opinion in the letter. Abhorred villain, unnatural, detested, brutish villain. Worse than brutish. Go, Sarah, seek him. I'll apprehend him. Abominable villain. Where is he?
I do not know well, my lord. If it shall please you to suspend your indignation against my brother till you can derive from him better testimony of his intent, on a certain course where, if you violently proceed against him, mistaking his purpose, it would make a great gap in your own honor and shake in pieces the heart of his obedience. I dare pawn down my life for him, that he hath writ this to feel my affection to your honor and no other pretense of danger.
Think you so?
If your honor judge to meet it, I will place you where you shall hear us confer of this, and by an auricular assurance of your satisfaction, and that without any further delay than this very evening.
He cannot be such a monster.
Nor it is not sure.
To his father, that so tenderly and entirely loves him, heaven and earth. Edmund, seek him out. Win him into me. I pray you, frame the business after your own wisdom. I would unstate myself to be in due resolution.
I will seek him, sir, presently. Convey the business as I shall find means and acquaint you with all.
These late eclipses in the sun and moon portend no good to us, though the wisdom of nature can reason it thus and thus. Yet nature finds itself scourged by the sequent effects. Love cools, friendship falls off, brothers divide, in cities mutinies, in countries discord, in palaces treason, and the bond cracked twixt son and father. This villain of mine comes under the prediction. There's son against father. The king falls from bias of nature. There's father against child. We have seen the best of our time. Machinations, hollowness, treachery, and all ruinous disorders follow us disquietly to our graves. Find out this villain, Edmund. it shall lose thee nothing. Do it carefully. And the noble and true-hearted Kent banished, his offense, honesty. 'Tis strange.
This is the excellent foppery of the world. That when we are sick in fortune, often the surface of our own behavior, we make guilty of our disasters the sun, the moon, and stars, as if we were villains on necessity, fools by heavenly compulsion, knaves, thieves, and liars by spherical predominance, drunkards, treacherers, and adulterers by an enforced obedience of planetary influence, and all that we are evil in by a divine thrusting on, an admirable evasion of whore-master man to lay his goatish disposition on the charge of a star. My father compounded with my mother under the dragon's tail, and my nativity was under Ursa Major. Thus it follows I am rough and lecherous. I should have been that I am had the maiden Lear star in the firmament twinkled on my bastardizing. Edgar, at Patty comes like the catastrophe of an old comedy. My cue is villainous melancholy, with a sigh like Tom o' Bedlam. Oh, these eclipses do portend, these divisions foresaw me.
Now, Brother Edmund, what serious contemplation are you in?
I am thinking, brother, of a prediction I read this other day which should follow these eclipses.
Do you busy yourself with that?
I promise you the effects he writes of succeed unhappy, as of unnaturalness between the child and the parent, death, dearth, disillusions of ancient amities, divisions in state, menaces and maledictions against king and nobles, needless diffidences, banishment of friends, dissipation of cohorts, nuptial breaches, and I know not what.
How long have you been a sectary astronomical?
Come, when saw you my father last?
The night gone by.
Spake you with him?
Aye, 2 hours together.
Parted you in good terms? Found you no displeasure by him, or word, or countenance?
None at all.
Bethink yourself wherein you may have offended him, and at my entreaty forbear his presence until some little time hath qualified the heat of his displeasure, which at this instant so rageth in him, that with the mischief of your person it would scarce allay.
Some villain hath done me wrong.
That's my fear. I pray you have a contented forbearance till the speed of his rage goes slower. And as I say, retire with me to my lodging, from whence I will fitly bring you to hear my lord speak. Pray you, there's my key. If you do stir abroad, go armed.
Armed, brother.
Brother, I advise you to the best. I am no honest man, if there be any good meaning toward you. I have told you what I have seen and heard, but faintly, nothing like the image and horror of it. Pray you away.
Shall I hear from you anon?
I do serve you in this business. A credulous father and a brother noble, whose nature is so far from doing harm that he suspects none, on whose foolish honesty my practices ride easy. I see the business. Let me, if not by birth, have lands by wit. All's with me's meat that I can fashion fit.
Did my father strike my gentleman for chiding of his fool?
Aye, madam.
By day and night he wrongs me. Every hour he flashes into one gross crime or other that sets us all at odds. I'll not endure it. His nights grow riotous, and himself upbraids us on every trifle. When he returns from hunting, I will not speak with him. Say I am sick. If you come slack of former services, you shall do well. The fault of it, I'll answer.
He's coming, madam. I hear him.
Put on what weary negligence you please, you and your fellows. I'd have it come to question. If he distasted, let him to my sister, whose mind and mine I know in that are one, not to be overruled. Idle old man that still would manage those authorities that he hath given away. Now, by my life, old fools are babes again and must be used with checks as flatteries when they are seen abused. Remember what I have said.
Well, madam.
And let his knights have colder looks among you. What grows of it? No matter. Advise your fellows so. I would breed from hence occasions, and I shall, that I may speak. I'll write straight to my sister to hold my very course. Prepare for dinner.
If but as well I other accents borrow that can my speech diffuse, my good intent may carry through itself to that full issue for which I raised my likeness. Now banished Kent, if thou canst serve where thou dost stand condemned, so may it come thy master, whom thou lovest, shall find thee full of labors.
How now? What art thou?
A man, sir.
Well, what dost thou profess? What wouldst thou with us?
I do profess to be no less than I seem, to serve him truly that will put me in trust, to love him that is honest, to converse with him that is wise and says little, to fear judgment, to fight when I cannot choose, and to eat no fish.
What art thou?
A very honest-hearted fellow, and as poor as the king.
If thou beest as poor as for a subject as he's for a king, thou art poor enough. What wouldst thou?
Service.
Who wouldst thou serve?
You.
Does thou know me, fellow?
No, sir, but you have that in your countenance which I would fain call master.
What's that?
Authority.
What services canst do?
Oh, I can keep honest counsel, ride, run, mar curious tale in telling it, and deliver a plain message bluntly. That which ordinary men are fit for, I am qualified in, and the best of me is diligence.
Oh, how old art thou?
Well, not so young, sir, as to love a woman for singing, nor so old to dote on her for anything. I have years on my back, 48.
Oh, follow me. Thou shalt serve me, if I like thee no worse after dinner. I will not part from thee yet. Dinner, dinner. Oh, where's my knave, my fool? Go you and call my fool hither. You, sirrah. Where's my daughter?
So please you.
What says the fellow there? They call the cot pole back. Where's my fool? Oh, I think the world's asleep. Now, where's that mongrel?
He says, my lord, your daughter is not well.
Why came not the slave back to me when I called him?
Sir, he answered me in the roundest manner. He would not.
He would not?
My lord, I know not what the matter is, but to my judgment, your highness is not entertained with that ceremonious affection as you are wont. There's a great abatement of kindness appears as well in the general dependence as in the Duke himself also. And your daughter?
Sayest thou so?
I beseech you pardon me, my lord, if I be mistaken, for my duty cannot be silent when I think your highness wronged.
Thou but rememberest me of mine own conception. I have perceived a most faint neglect of late, which I have rather blamed as mine own jealousy, jealous courtesy, that has a very pretense and purpose of unkindness. We'll look further into it. But where's my fool? I have not seen him this 2 days.
Since my young lady's going into France, sir, the fool hath much pined away.
Oh, no more of that. I've noted it well. Go, you, and tell my daughter I would speak with her. Go, you, call hither my fool. Oh, sir, come you hither, sir. Who am I, sir?
My lady's father.
My lady's father? My lord knave, you whoresome dog, you slave, you cur.
I am none of these, my lord. I beseech your pardon.
You demand Betty looks with me, you rascal.
I'll not be strucken, my lord.
No, nor trick neither, you base football player.
Oh.
I thank thee, fellow. You serviced me, and I love thee.
Come, sir, rise. Away, I'll teach you differences. Away, away! If you'll measure your lubber's length again, tarry, but away. Go to. Have you wisdom?
Now, my friendly knave, I thank thee. There's earnest of thy service.
Let me hire him too. Here's my coxcomb.
How now, my pretty knave, how dost thou?
Sir, you best take my coxcomb.
Why, my boy?
Why? For taking one's part that's out of favor. Nay, if thou canst not smile as the wind sits, thou will catch cold shortly. There, take my coxcomb. Why, this fellow has banished 2 of his daughters and did the 3rd a blessing against his will. If thou follow him, thou must needs wear my coxcomb. How now, nuncle? Would I had 2 coxcombs and 2 daughters.
Why, boy?
If I gave them all my living, I'd keep my coxcombs myself. There's mine. Beg another of thy daughters.
Take heed, sirrah, the whip.
Oh, truth's a dog must to kennel. He must be whipped up. When the Lady Brock may stand by the fire and stink.
Pestilent gall to me.
Sarah, I'll teach thee a speech.
Do.
Mark it, uncle. Have more than thou showest. Speak less than thou knowest. Lend less than thou owest. Write more than thou goest. Learn more than thou trowest. Set less than thou throwest. Leave thy drink and thy whore. And keep in a door, and thou shalt have more than 2 tens to a score.
This is nothing, fool.
Oh, then 'tis like the breath of an unfeed lawyer. You gave me nothing for it. Can you make sense of nothing, uncle?
My boy, no. Nothing can be made of nothing.
Prithee tell him, so the rent of his land comes to. He will not believe a fool.
Ah, bitter fool.
Dost thou know the difference, my boy, between a bitter fool and a sweet one?
No, lad. Teach me.
The Lord that counselled thee to give away thy land, come place him here by me, nor do thou for him stand. The sweet and bitter fool will presently appear. The one in motley here, the other found out there.
Dost thou call me fool, boy?
All thy other titles thou hast given away. That thou wast born with.
This is not altogether fool, my lord.
If lords and great men will not let me. If I had a monopoly out, they would have part on it. Oh, and ladies too. They will not let me have the fool myself. They'll be snatching. Oh, nuncle. Oh, give me an egg, and I'll give thee 2 crowns.
What 2 crowns shall they be?
Why, after I have cut the egg in the middle and eat up the meat, the 2 crowns of the egg. When thou clovest thy crown in the middle and gavest away both parts, thou borest thine ass on thy back or the dirt. Oh, thou hadst little wit in thy bald crown when thou gavest thy golden one away. If I speak like myself in this, let him be whipped that first finds it so. Fools had never less grace in a year, for wise men are grown foppish, and know not how their wits to wear. Their manners are so apish.
When were you wont to be so full of songs, sirrah?
Oh, I have used it, nuncle, ever since thou madest thy daughters thy mothers. For when thou gavest them the rod and put down thine own breeches, oh, then they for sudden joy did weep, and I for sorrow sung, that such a king should play bo peep and go the fools among. Oh, prithee, nuncle, keep a schoolmaster that can teach thy fool to lie. I would fain learn to lie.
And you, our sirrah, will have you whipped.
Oh, I marvel what kin thou and thy daughters are. Thou'll have me whipped for speaking true, thou'll have me whipped for lying, and sometimes I'm whipped for holding my peace. I had rather be any kind of thing than a fool, and yet I would not be thee, nuncle. Thou hast pared thy wit on both sides and left nothing in the middle. Oh, here comes one of the parings.
How now, daughter? What makes that frontlet on? Methinks you are too much of late in the frown.
Thou wast a pretty fellow when thou hadst no need to care for her frowning. Now thou art an without a figure. I am better than thou art now. I am a fool, thou art nothing. Oh, yes, forsooth, I will hold my tongue. Yet, so your face bids me, though you say nothing. Mum, he that keeps not crust or crumb, weary of all shall want some. There's a shelled peas cod.
Not only, sir, this your all-licensed fool, but other of your insolent retinue do hourly carp and quarrel, breaking forth in rank and not to be endured riots. Sir, I had thought by making this well known unto you to have found a safer dress, but now grow fearful by what yourself too late has spoke and done, that you protect this course and put it on by your allowance, which, if you should, the fault would not scape censure, nor the redresses sleep, which in the tender of your wholesome weal might in their working do you that offense, which else were shame, that then necessity would call discreet proceeding.
For you know, nuncle, the hedge sparrow fed the cuckoo so long that it had its head bit off by its young. So out went the candle, and we were left darkling.
Are you our daughter?
I would you would make use of your good wisdom, whereof I know you are fraught, and put away these dispositions which of late transport you from what you rightly are.
Oh, may not an ass know where the cart draws the horse? Whoop, Jug, I love thee.
Does anyone here know me? This is not Lear. Does Lear walk thus, speak thus? Where are his eyes? Either his notion weakens, his discernings are lethargied. Waking? 'Tis not so. Who is it that can tell me who I am?
Lear's shadow.
I would learn that, for by the marks of sovereignty, knowledge, and reason, I should be false persuaded I had daughters.
Which they will make an obedient father.
Your name, fair gentlewoman?
This admiration, sir, is much of the savor of your other new pranks. I do beseech you to understand my purposes aright, as you are old and reverend, should be wise. Here do you keep 100 knights and squires, men so disordered, so debauched and bold, that this our court, infected with their manners, shows like a riotous inn. Epicurism and lust makes it more like a tavern or brothel than a graced palace. The shame itself doth speak for instant remedy. Be then desired by her that else will take the things she begs, a little to disquantity or train, and the remainders that shall still depend to be such men as besort your age, which know themselves and you.
Darkness and devils! Ah! Saddle my horses, call my train together. Degenerate bastard! I'll not trouble thee, yet have I left a daughter.
You strike my people, and your disordered rabble make servants of their betters.
Whoa, that too late, repent. Oh, sir, are you come? Is it your will? Speak, sir. What? Prepare my horses. Ingratitude, thy marble-hearted fiend, more hideous than thou show'st thee in a child, than a sea monster.
Pray, sir, be patient.
Tested kite, thou liest. My train are men of choice and rarest parts, that all participants of duty know, and in the most exact and regard support the worships of their name. O most small fault, how ugly didst thou in Cordelia show, which, like an engine, wrenched my frame of nature. From the fixed place, drew from my heart all love and added it to gall. Oh, Lear, Lear, Lear. Beat at this gate, that let thy folly in, and thy dear judgment out. Ah. Go, my people.
My lord, I am guiltless as I am ignorant of what hath moved you.
I may be so, my lord. Here, nature, here, dear goddess, here. Suspend thy purpose if thou didst intend to make this creature fruitful. Into her womb convey sterility, dry up in her the organs of increase, and from her derogate body never spring a babe to honor her. If she must teem, create her a child of spleen, that it may live and be a thwart, disnatured torment to her. Let it stamp wrinkles in her brow of youth, and decadent tears fret the channels in her cheeks. Turn all her mother's pains and benefits to laughter and contempt, that she may feel how sharper than a serpent's tongue it is to have a thankless child. Away! Away!
Now, gods that we adore, whereof comes this?
Never afflict yourself to know more of it, but let his disposition have that scope as dotage gives it.
What? 50 of my followers at the clap within a fortnight?
What's the matter, sir?
I'll tell thee. Life and death I am ashamed, that thou hast power to shake my manhood thus, that these hot tears which break from my perforce should make thee worth them. Blasts and fogs upon thee, thou untended woundings of thy father's purse, pierce every sense about thee. Old fond eyes, beweep this cause again. I'll pluck you out and cast you with the waters that you use to temper clay. Yes, come to this. Let it be so. I have another daughter, who I am sure is kind and comfortable. When she shall hear this of thee, with her nails she'll flay thy wolfish visage. Thou shalt find that I'll resume the shape which thou dost think I have cast off forever.
Do you mark that?
I cannot be so partial, Goneril, to the great love I bear you.
Pray you, content. What, Oswald? Ho! You, sir, more knave than fool. After your master.
Uncle Lear! Uncle Lear! Take the fool with thee! A fox, when one has caught her, and such a daughter, should sure to the slaughter. If my cap would buy a halter. So the fool follows after.
This man hath had good counsel. 100 knights! 'Tis politic and safe to let him keep at point 100 knights. Yes, that on every dream, each buzz, each fancy, each complaint, dislike, he may and guard his dotage with their powers, and hold our lives in mercy. Oswald, I say.
Well, you may fear too far.
Safer than to trust too far. Let me still take away the harms I fear, not fear still to be taken. I know his heart. What he hath uttered, I have writ my sister. If she sustain him, and his 100 knights, where I have showed the unfitness. Oh. How now, Oswald? What, have you writ that letter to my sister?
Aye, madam.
Take you some company, and await a horse. Inform her full of my particular fear, and thereto add such reasons of your own as it may compact it more. Get you gone, and hasten your return. No, no, my lord, this milky gentleness and course of yours, though I condemn not, yet under pardon, you are much more at task for want of wisdom than praised for harmful mildness.
How far your eyes may pierce, I cannot tell. Striving to better, oft we may mar what's well.
Nay, then.
Well, event.
Go you before to Gloucester with these letters. Acquaint my daughter no further with anything you know that comes from her demand out of these letters. If your diligence be not speedy, I shall be there before you.
I shall not sleep, my lord, until I've delivered your letter.
If a man's brains were in heels, were it not in danger of kibes?
Aye, boy.
Then I prithee, be merry. Thy wit shall not go slipshod. Oh, shall see thy other daughter will use thee kindly, for though she's as like this as a crab's like an apple, yet I can tell what I can tell.
What canst tell, boy?
She will taste as like this as a crab does to a crab. Then thou canst tell why one nose stands in the middle of one's face?
No.
Why? To keep one's eyes of either side of his nose, that what a man cannot smell out, he may spy into.
I did her wrong.
Canst thou tell how an oyster makes its shell?
No.
No, nor I neither. But I can tell why a snail has a house.
Why?
Why? To put his head in. Not to give it away to his daughters and leave his horns without a case.
I will forget my nature. So kind of father. Be my horses ready.
Thy asses are gone about 'em. The reason why the 7 stars are no more than 7 is a pretty reason.
Because they are not 8.
Yes, indeed. Thou would make a good fool.
To take again perforce. Monster ingratitude.
No, if thou were my fool, nuncle, I'd have thee beaten for being old before thy time.
How's that?
Thou shouldest not have been old till thou hadst been wise.
Oh, let me not be mad, not mad, sweet heavens. Keep me in temper, I will not be mad. Now are the horses ready?
Ready, my lord.
Come, boy.
Oh, she that's a maid now and laughs at my departure shall not be a maid long until things be cut shorter.
Save thee, Curran.
And you, sir. I've been with your father, and I've given him notice that the Duke of Cornwall and Regan the Duchess will be here with him this night.
How comes that?
Nay, I know not. You've heard of the news abroad. I mean, the whispered ones for the yet but ear-kissing arguments.
Not I, pray you, what are they?
Have you heard of no likely wars twixt the Dukes of Cornwall and Albany?
Not a word.
Why, you may do then, in time. Fare you well, sir.
The Duke be here tonight. The better, best. This weaves itself perforce into my business. My father has sent a guard to take my brother, and I have one thing of a queasy question which I must act. Briefness and fortune work. Brother, a word! Descend! Brother, I say! My father watches, oh sir, fly this place. Intelligence is given where you are hid. You have now the good advantage of the night. Have you not spoken against the Duke of Cornwall? He's coming hither now, in the night, in the haste, and Regan with him. Have you nothing to say upon his part against the Duke of Albany? Advise yourself.
I am sure on't, not a word.
I hear my father coming. Pardon me. In coming, I must draw my blade upon you. Draw. Seem to defend yourself. Now quit you well. Yield! Come before my father! Light ho! Here! Fly, brother! Torches! Torches! And so farewell! Some blood drawn on me would beget opinion of my more fierce endeavor. I've seen drunkards do more at this in sport. Father! Father! Stop! Stop! No help!
Now, Edmund, where's the villain?
Here stood he in the dark, his sharp sword out, mumbling of wicked charms, conjuring the moon to stand auspicious mistress.
But where is he?
Look, sir, I bleed.
Where is the villain, Edmund?
Fled this way, sir, when by no means he could.
Peace to pursue him, ho! Go after. By no means what?
Persuade me to the murder of your lordship. but that I told him the revenging gods against parricides did all the thunder bend, spoke with how manifold and strong a bond the child was bound to the father. Sir, in fine, seeing how loathly opposite I stood to his unnatural purpose, I fell motion with his prepared sword. He charges home on my unprovided body, lanced mine arm, and when he saw my best alarmed spirits, bold in the quarrel's right, roused to the encounter, or whether gasted by the noise I made, full suddenly he fled.
Let him fly far. Not in this land shall he remain uncaught, and found dispatch. The noble Duke, my master, my worthy arch and patron, comes tonight. By his authority I will proclaim it, that he which finds him shall deserve our thanks, bringing the murderous coward to the stake. He that conceals him, death.
When I dissuaded him from his intent, and found him pight to do it, with cursed speech I threatened to discover him. He replied, "Thou unpossessing bastard, dost thou think if I would stand against thee, would the reposal of any trust, virtue, or worth in thee make thy words faithed? No. What should I deny? As this I would, though thou didst produce my very character. I'd turn it all to thy suggestion, plot, and damned practice. And thou must make a dullard of the world if they not thought the profits of my death were very pregnant and potential spurs to make thee seek it."
Oh, strange and fastened villain! Would he deny his letter, said he? I never got him. Hark! The Duke's trumpets. I know not why he comes. All ports I'll bar. The villain shall not escape. The Duke must grant me that. Besides, his picture I will send far and near, that all the kingdom may have due note of him. And of my land, loyal and natural boy, I'll work the means to make thee capable.
How now, my noble friend? Since I came hither, which I can call but now, I have heard strange news.
Be true, all vengeance comes too short, which can pursue the offender. How dost, my lord?
Oh, madam, my old heart is cracked. It's cracked.
What? Did my father's godson seek your life? He whom my father named your Edgar?
Oh, lady, shame would have hid it.
Was he not companions with the riotous knights that tended upon my father?
I know not, madam. 'Tis too bad. Too bad.
Aye, madam, he was of that consort.
No marvel then. Though he were ill affected, 'tis they have put him on the old man's death, to have the expense and waste of his revenues. I have this present evening from my sister been well informed of them, and with such cautions that if they come to sojourn at my house, I'll not be there.
Nor I assure thee, Regan. Edmund, I hear that you have shown your father a childlike office.
It was my duty, sir.
He did bewray his practice, and received this hurt you see striving to apprehend him.
Is he pursued?
Aye, my good lord.
If he be taken, he shall ne'er more be feared of doing harm. Make your own purpose how in my strength you please. For you, Edmund, whose virtue and obedience doth this instant so much commend itself, you shall be ours. Natures of such deep trust we shall much need. You we first seize upon.
I shall serve you, sir, truly, however else.
For him, I thank your grace.
You know not why we came to visit you.
Thus out of season, threatening dark-eyed night, occasions, noble Gloucester, of some poise, wherein we must have use of your advice. Our father he hath writ, so hath our sister, of differences, which I best thought it fit to answer from our home. The several messengers from hence attend dispatch. Our good old friend, lay comforts to your bosom, and bestow your needful counsel to our businesses, which craves the instant use.
I serve you, madam. Your graces are right welcome.
Good dawning to thee, friend. Art of this house?
Aye.
Where may we set our horses?
In the mire.
Prithee, if thou lovest me, tell me.
I love thee not.
Why then, I care not for thee.
If I had thee in Lipsbury pinful, I'd make thee care for me.
Why dost thou use me thus? I know thee not.
Fella, I know thee.
Oh, what dost thou know of me?
A knave, a rascal, an eater of broken meats, a base, proud, shallow, beggarly, three-suited, 100-pound, filthy, worsty-stocking knave, a lily-livered, action-taken, whore-son, glass-gazing, superservible, finical rogue, one-trunk inheriting slave, one that would be a bawd and away a good service, and art nothing but the composition of a knave, beggar, coward, pander, and the son and heir of a mongrel bitch. One whom I will beat into clamorous whining if thou deniest the least syllable of thy addition.
Why? What a monstrous fellow art thou thus, to rail on one that is neither known of thee nor knows thee.
Oh, what a brazen-faced varlet art thou to deny thou know'st me. Is it 2 days hence ago since I tripped up thy heels and beat thee before the king? Draw, you rogue, for though it be night, yet moon shines. I'll make a sup of the moonshine of you whoreson, cullionly babbermonger. Draw!
Away! I have nothing to do with thee.
Draw, you rascal. You come with letters against the king and take vanity, the puppet's part against the royalty of her father. Draw, you rogue, or I'll so carbonata your shanks. Draw, you rascal, come your ways.
Help! Oh, murder! Help!
Strike, you slave. Stand, rogue. Stand, you meat slave.
Help! Oh, murder!
Now, what's the matter? Part!
With you, Godman boy, if you please. Come, I'll flesh you. Come on, young master.
Weapons? Arms? What's the matter here?
Keep peace upon your lives. He dies that strikes again. What's the matter?
The messengers from our sister and the king.
What is your difference? Speak.
I am scaring breath, my lord.
No marvel you've so bestirred your valor. Cowardly rascal, nature disclaims in thee a tailor made thee.
Thou art a strange fellow. A tailor make a man.
A tailor, sir. A stonecutter or a painter could not have made him so ill, though they'd been 2 years in the trade.
Speak yet. How grew your quarrel?
This ancient ruffian, sir, whose life I have spared at suit of his gray beard.
Oh, thou whoreson Zed, thou unnecessary letter. My lord, if you'll give me leave, I'll tread this unbolted villain into mortar and daub the wall of the jakes with him. Spare my gray beard, ye wagtail.
Peace, sirrah. You beastly knave, know you no reverence?
Yes, sir, but anger hath a privilege.
Well, why art thou angry?
That such a slave as this should wear a sword who wears no honesty. Such smiling rogues as these, like rats, oft bite the holy cords of twain, which are too entrenched to unloose, smooth every passion that in the natures of their lords rebel, being oil to fire, snow to the colder modes. renege, affirm, and turn their halcyon beaks with every gale and vary of their masters, knowing not like dogs, but following. A plague upon your epileptic visage! Smile you at my speeches as if I were a fool? Goose, if I had you upon Sarum Plain, I'd drive you cackling home to Camelot.
What? Art thou mad, old fellow?
How fell you out? Say that.
No contraries have more antipathy than I and such a knave.
Why dost thou call him knave? What is his fault?
His countenance likes me not.
No more perchance is mine, nor his, nor hers.
Sir, 'tis my occupation to be plain. I've seen better faces in my time than stands on any shoulder that I see before me at this instant.
This is some fellow who, having been praised for bluntness, doth affect a saucy roughness, and constrains the garb quite from his nature. He cannot flatter, he, an honest mind, and plain, he must speak truth, and they will take it so. If not, he's plain. These kind of knaves I know, which in his plainness harbor more craft and more corrupter ends than 20 silly ducking observants that stretch their duties nicely.
Sir, in good faith, in sincere verity, under the allowance of your great aspect, whose influence, like the wreath of radiant fire on flickering Phoebus' front.
What mean'st by this?
To go out of my dialect, which you discommend so much. I know, sir, I'm no flatterer. He that beguiled you in a plain accent was a plain knave, which for my part I will not be, though I should win your displeasure to entreat me to it.
What was the offense you gave him?
I never gave him any. It pleased the king, his master, very late to strike at me upon his misconstruction, when he, compact and flattering his displeasure, tripped me behind, being down, insulted, railed, and put upon him such a great deal of man that worthied him, got praises of the king for him attempting, who was self-subdued, and in the fleshman of this dread exploit, drew on me here again.
None of these rogues and cowards, but Ajax is their fool.
Fetch forth the stocks. You stubborn ancient knave, you reverend braggart. We'll teach you.
Sir, I'm too old to learn. Call not your stocks for me. I served the king, on whose employment I was sent to you. You shall do small respect, show too bold malice against the grace and person of my master stalking his messenger.
Fetch forth the stocks, as I have life and honor. There shall he sit, till noon.
Till noon? Till night, my lord, and all night, too.
Why, madam, if I were your father's dog, you should not use me so.
Sir, being his knave, I will.
This is a fellow of the self-same color our sister speaks of. Come, bring away the stocks.
Let me beseech your grace not to do so. His fault is much, and the good king, his master, will check him for it. Yeah. Your proposed low correction is such a basis, and condemned wretches for pilferings and most common trespasses are punished with. The king must take it ill, that he, so slightly valued in his messenger, should have him thus restrained.
Well, I'll answer that.
My sister may receive it much more worse to have her gentleman abused, assaulted for following her affairs in his legs.
Come, my good lord, away.
I am sorry for thee, friend. 'Tis the Duke's pleasure, whose disposition all the world well knows will not be rubbed nor stopped. I'll entreat for thee.
Pray do not, sir. I have watched and traveled hard. Sometime I shall sleep out, the rest I'll whistle. A good man's fortune may grow out at heels. Give you good morrow.
The Duke's to blame in this. 'Twill be ill taken.
Good king, that must approve the common saw. Thou out of heaven's benediction comest to the warm sun. Approach thou, beacon, to this underglobe, that by thy comfortable beams I may peruse this letter. Nothing almost sees miracles but misery. I know 'tis from Cordelia, who hath been most fortunately been informed of my obscured course, and shall find time from this enormous state, seeking to give losses their remedies. All weary and o'erwatched, take vantage, heavy eyes, not to behold this shameful lodging. Fortune, good night. Smile once more, turn thy wheel.
I heard myself proclaimed, and by the happy hollow of a tree escaped the hunt. No port is free, no place that guard in most unusual vigilance does not attend my taking. Whilst I may escape, I'll preserve myself and be thought to take the basest and most poorest shape that ever penury and in contempt of man brought near to beast. My face I'll grime with filth, blanket my loins of all my hairs and knots, and with presented nakedness outface the winds and persecutions of the sky. The country gives me proof and precedence of bedlam beggars who with roaring voices striking their numbed and mortified arms, pins, wooden pricks, nails, sprigs of rosemary, and with this horrible object from low farms, poor pelting villages, sheepcotes, and mills, sometimes with lunatic bands, sometimes with prayers, enforce their charity. Poor Turley God. Poor Tom. That's something yet. Edgar, I nothing am.
It is strange that they should so depart from home and not send back any messenger.
As I learned the night before, there was no purpose in them of this remove.
Oh, hail to thee, noble master.
Ha! Makest thou this shame thy pastime?
No, my lord.
He wears cruel garters. Horses are tied by the heads, dogs and bears by the neck, monkeys by the loins, and men by the legs. When a man's over lusty at legs, then he wears wooden nether stocks.
What's he that hath so much thy place mistook to set thee here?
It is both he and she, your son and daughter.
No.
Yes.
No, I say.
I say yea.
By Jupiter, I swear no.
By Juno, I swear aye.
They does not do it. They could not, would not do it. 'Tis worse than murder to do upon respect such a violent outage. Resolve me with all modest haste, which way thou mightst deserve, or thy impulse this usage, coming from us.
My lord, when at their home, I did commend your highness letters to them. Ere I was risen from the place that showed my duty kneeling, came there a reeking post, stewed in his haste, half breathless, panting forth from Goneril, his mistress' salutations. Delivered letters, spite of intermission, which presently they read, on whose contents they summoned up their moody, straight took course, commanded me to follow and attend the leisure of their answer, gave me cold looks, and meeting here the other messenger, whose welcome I perceived had poisoned mine, being the very fellow which of late displayed so saucily against your highness, having more man than wit about me, drew, he raised the house with loud and coward cries. Your son and daughter found this trespass worth the shame which here it suffers.
Winter's not gone if the wild geese fly that way. Fathers that wear rags do make their children blind, but fathers that bear bags shall see their children kind. Cha-ching! Fortune, that errant whore, ne'er turns the key to the poor. But for all of this thou shalt have as many dollars for thy daughters as thou canst tell in a year.
Oh, how this mother swells up toward my heart. Hysteria passio. Down, thou climbing sorrow, the elements below. Where is this daughter?
With the Earl, sir, here within.
Follow me not. Stay here.
Made you no more offense but what you speak of?
None. How chance the king comes with so small a number?
Oh, if thou hast been set in the stocks for that question, thou'st well deserved it.
Why, fool?
We'll set thee to school and to teach thee there's no laboring in the winter. All that follow their noses are led by their eyes, but blind men. And there's not a nose among 20 that can smell him that's stinking. Let go thy hold when a great wheel runs down a hill, lest it break thy neck with following. But the great one that goes upward, let him draw thee after. When a wise man gives thee better counsel, give me mine again. I would have none but knaves follow it, since a fool gives it. That, sir, which serves and seeks for gain, and follows but for form, will pack when it begins to rain, and leave thee in the storm. But I will tarry, the fool will stay, and let the wise man fly. The knave turns fool that runs away, the fool no knave purdy.
Where learned you this, fool?
Not in the stocks, fool.
Deny to speak with me? They are sick. They are weary. They have traveled all the night. It fetches the image of revolt and flying off. Fetch me a better answer.
My dear lord, you know the fiery quality of the Duke, how unremovable and fixed he is in his own course.
Vengeance, plague, death, confusion, fiery? What quality? Why, Gloucester, Gloucester. I'd speak with the Duke of Cornwall and his wife.
Well, my good lord, I have informed them so.
Informed him? Dost thou understand me, man?
Aye, my good lord.
The king would speak with Cornwall. The dear father would with his daughter speak. Commands, tends service. Are they informed of this? My breath and blood. Fiery, the fiery Duke? Tell the hot Duke that no, but not yet. Maybe he is not well. Infirmity doth still neglect all office. Where do our health is bound? We are not ourselves when nature, being oppressed, commands the mind to suffer with the body. I'll forbear, and am fallen out with my more headier will to take the indisposed and sickly fit for the sound man. Death on my state, wherefore should he sit here? This act persuades me that this remotion of the Duke and her is practice only. Give me my servants forth. Go tell the Duke and his wife I'd speak with them. Now, presently bid them come forth and hear me, or at the chamber door I'll beat the drum till it cry sleep to death.
I would have all well betwixt you.
Oh, me. My heart, my rising heart. Down.
Cry to it, uncle, as the cockney did to the eels when she put him in the paste alive. She napped him down in the coxcombs with a stick and cried, down, wantons, down. 'Twas her brother that in pure kindness to his horse buttered his hay.
Good morning to you both.
Hail to your grace.
I am glad to see your Highness.
Regan, I think you are. I know what reason I have to think so. If thou shouldst not be glad, I would divorce me from thy mother's womb, sepulchring an adulteress. Oh, are you free? Some other time for that. Beloved Regan, thy sister is not. Oh, Regan, she hath tied sharp-toothed and kindness, like a vulture here. I can scarce speak to thee. Thou'lt not believe with how depraved a quality, oh, Regan.
I pray you, sir, take patience. I have hope you less know how to value her desert than she to scant her duty.
Say? How is that?
Well, I cannot think my sister in the least would fail her obligation. If, sir, perchance she have restrained the riots of your followers, 'tis on such ground and to such wholesome end as clears her from all blame.
My curse is on her.
Oh, sir, you are old. Nature in you stands on the very verge of his confine. You should be ruled and led by some discretion that discerns your state better than yourself. Therefore, I pray you that to our sister you do make return. Say you have wronged her.
Ask her forgiveness? Do you but mark how this becomes the house? Dear daughter, I confess that I am old. Age is unnecessary. On my knees I beg that she'll vouchsafe my raiment, bed, and food.
Good sir, no more. These are unsightly tricks. Return you to my sister.
Never, Regan. She hath abated me of half my train, looked black upon me, struck me with her tongue, most serpentile upon the very heart. All the stored vengeances of heaven fall on her ingrateful top, striking her young bones, you taking airs with lameness.
Fie, sir, fie.
You nimble lightnings, dodge her blinding flames into her scornful eyes, infect her beauty, you fen-sucked fogs, drawn by the powerful sun to fall and blister.
Oh, the blessed gods! So will you wish on me when the rash mood is on?
No! Regan, thou shalt never have my curse. Thy tender-hafted nature shall not give thee aught to harshness. Her eyes are fierce, but thine do comfort and not burn. 'Tis not in thee to grudge my pleasures, to cut off my train, to bandy hasty words, to scant my sizes, and, in conclusion, to oppose the bolt against my coming in. Thou better know'st the offices of nature, bond of childhood, effects of courtesy, dues of gratitude. Thy half for the kingdom hast thou not forgot, wherein I thee endowed?
Good sir, to the purpose.
Who put my men at the stocks?
What trumpet's that?
Oh, I know it. My sister's. It proves her letter that she would soon be here. Is your lady come?
This is a slave whose easy borrowed pride dwells in the fickle grace of her fellows. Out, varlet, from my sight.
What means your grace?
Who stalked my servant? Regan, I have good hope thou didst not know on't. Who comes here? Oh, heavens, if you do love old men, if your sweet sway allow obedience, if you yourselves are old, make it your cause, send down and take my part. thou ashamed to look upon this beard? Regan, will you take her by the hand?
Why not by the hand, sir? How have I offended? All's not offense that indiscretion finds and dotage terms so.
Oh, sides, you are too tough. Will you yet hold? How came my man in the stocks?
I set him there, sir. But his own disorders deserved much less advancement.
You? Did you?
I pray you, Father, being weak, seems so. If till the expiration of your month you will return and sojourn with my sister, dismissing half your train, come then to me. I am now from home and out of that provision which shall be needful for your entertainment.
Return to her and 50 men dismissed? No! Rather I abjure all roofs and choose to wage against the enmity of the air, to be a comrade with the wolf and owl, necessity's sharp pinch. Return with her? Why, the hot-blooded France that dowerless took our youngest born, I could as well be brought to knee his throne and squire like penitent beg to keep base life afoot. Return with her? Say we rather to be slave and sumpter to this detested goon.
At your choice, sir.
I prithee, daughter, do not make me mad. I will not trouble thee, my child. Well, we'll no more meet, no more see one another, but yet thou art my flesh, my blood, my daughter, or rather a disease that's in my flesh, which I must needs call mine. Thou art a boy, a plague sore or embossed carbuncle in my corrupted blood. But I'll not chide thee. Let shame come when it will. I do not call it. I do not bid the thunder bearer shoot, nor tell tales of these to high judging Jove. Mend when you cast. Be better at thy leisure. I can be patient. I can stay with Regan, I and my 100 knights.
Ah, not altogether so. I looked not for you yet, nor am provided for your fit welcome. Give ear, sir, to my sister, for those that mingle reason with your passion must be content to think you old, and so. But she knows what she does.
Is this well spoken?
I dare avouch it, sir. What? 50 followers. Is not well. What should you need of more? Yea, or so many, sith that both danger speak against so great a number. How in one house many people under two commands hold amity? 'Tis hard, almost impossible.
Why might not you, my lord, receive attendance from those that she calls servants, or from mine?
Why not, my lord? If then they chanced to slack you, we could control them. If you will come to me, for now I spy a danger, I entreat you to bring but 5 and 20. To no more will I give place or notice.
I gave you all.
In good time you gave it.
Made you my guardians, my depositories, but kept a reservation to be followed with such a number. What? Must I come to you with 5 and 20, Regan? Said you so?
And speak it again, my lord. No more with me.
Whose wicked creatures yet do look well favored when others are more wicked. not being the worst, stands in the same rank of praise. With thee, thy 50 yet doth double 20, 5 and 20, and thou art twice her love.
Hear me, my lord. What need you, 5 and 20, 10, or 5, to follow in a house where twice so many have a command to tend you?
What need one?
Oh, reason, not the need. Our basest beggars are in the poorest things superfluous. Allow not nature more than nature needs. Man's life is cheap as beasts. Thou art a lady, if only to go warm where gorgeous. Why, nature needs not what thou gorgeous wearest, which scarcely keeps you warm. But for true need, you heavens give me that patience I need. You see me here, you gods, a poor old man, as full of grief as age, wretched in both. If it be you that stirs these daughters' hearts against their father, fool me not so much to bear it tamely. Touch me with noble anger, and let not the women's weapons, water drops, stain my man's cheeks. No unnatural hags, I will have such revenge on you both that all the world shall. I will do such things. What they are, yet I know not, but they shall be the terrors of the earth. You think I'll weep? No, I'll not weep. I have full cause for weeping, but this heart shall break into 100,000 flaws, or ere I'll weep. Oh, fool, I shall go mad.
Let us withdraw, 'twill be a storm.
This house is little. The old man and his people cannot be well bestowed.
'Tis his own blame hath put himself from rest, and must needs taste his folly.
For his particular, I'll receive him gladly, but not one follower.
So am I purposed. Where is my lord of Gloucester?
Followed the old man forth. He is returned.
The king is in high rage.
Whither is he going?
He calls to horse, but will I know not whither.
Yeah, 'tis best to give him way. He leads himself.
My lord, entreat him by no means to stay.
Alack, the night comes on, and the high winds do sorely ruffle. For many miles about, there's scarce a bush.
Oh, sir, to willful men, the injuries that they themselves procure must be their schoolmasters. Shut up your doors. He is attended with a desperate train, and what they may incense him to, being apt to have his ear abused, wisdom bids fear.
Shut up your doors, my lord. 'Tis a wild night. My Regan counsels, well, come out of the storm.
Who's there besides foul weather?
One-minded.
Go for it.
One-minded like the weather, most unquietly.
I know you. Where's the king?
Contending with the fretful elements, bids the wind blow the earth into the sea, or swell the curled waters above the main, that things might change or cease, tears his white hair, which the impetuous blast with eyeless rage, catching their fury and make nothing of, strives in his little world of man to outscorn the to and fro conflicting wind and rain. This night wherein the cub-drawn bear would couch, the lion and the belly-pinched wolf keep their fur dry. Unbonneted he runs, and bids that will take all.
But who is with him?
None but the fool who labors to outjest his heart-struck injuries.
Sir, I do know you, and dare upon the warrant of my note commend a dear thing to you. There is division, although as yet the face of it is covered with mutual cunning twixt Albany and Cornwall, who have, as who have not, that their great stars throned and set high, servants who seem no less, which are to France the spies and speculations intelligent of our state. From France there comes a power into this scattered kingdom, who already, wise in our negligence, have secret feet in some of our best ports, or and are at point to show their open banner. Now to you, if on my credit you dare to build so far, to make your speed to Dover, you shall find some that will thank you, making just report of how unnatural and bemadding sorrow the king hath caused to plain. What hath been seen either in snuffs and packings of the dukes, or the hard reign which both of them hath borne against the old kind king, or something deeper, whereof perchance these are but furnishings. I am a gentleman of blood and breeding, and from some knowledge and assurance offer this office to you.
I will talk further with you.
No, do not. For confirmation that I am much more than my outwall, open this purse and take what it contains. If you shall see Cordelia, as fear not but you shall, show her this ring, and she will tell you who that fellow is that yet you do not know. Fly on this storm. I will go seek the king.
Give me your hand. Have you no more to say?
Few words, but to effect more than all yet, that when we have found the king, in which your pain, that way I'll this, he that first lights on him, hallow the other.
Blow winds and crack your cheeks, rage blow. You cataracts and hurricanes spout till you have drenched our steeples, drowned the cocks. You sulphurous and thought-executing fires, bought couriers of oak-cleaving thunderbolts, singe my white head, and thou all-shaking thunder. Strike flat the thick rotundity of the world. Crack nature's molds, all German spill at once that makes ingrateful man.
Uncle, quart holy water in a dry house is better than this rainwater out of door. Good uncle, in, ask thy daughter's blessing, here's a night pities neither wise men nor fools.
Rumble thy belly full, spit fire, spout rain. Nor rain, wind, thunder, fire are my daughters. I tax not you, you elements, with unkindness. I never gave you kingdom, called you children. You owe me no subscription. Then let fall your horrible pleasure. Here I stand, your slave, a poor, infirm, weak and despised old man. But yet I call you servile ministers, that will with two pernicious daughters join your high endangered battles against a head so old and white. This, oh, how 'tis foul.
He that has a house to put his head in has a good headpiece. The codpiece that will house before the head has any, the head he shall louse, so beggars many. Oh, the man that makes his toe what his heart should make, shall of the corn cry, woe into his sleep to wake. For there was never yet fair woman, but she made mouths in a glass.
No, I will be the pattern of all patience. I will say nothing.
Who's there?
Oh, Mary, here's grace and a codpiece. That's a wise man and a fool.
Alas, sir, are you here? Things that love night love not such nights as these. The wrathful skies gallow the very wanderers of the dark and make them keep their caves. Since I was man, such sheets of fire, such bursts of horrid thunder, such groans of warring wind and rain I never remember to have heard. Man's nature cannot carry the affliction and the fear.
Let the great gods that keep this dreadful putter o'er our heads find out their enemies now. Tremble, thou wretch, that hast within thee undivulged crimes, unwhipped justice. Hide thee, thou bloody hand, thou perjured, thou simuler of justice, that art incestuous. Caitiff to pieces shake, that under covert and convenient seeming is practices of man's life. Close pent-up guilts, give your concealing continence and cry these dreadful summoners' grace. I am a man more sinned than sinning.
Black, bareheaded. Gracious my lord, hard by here there is a hovel. Some friendship will it lend you against the tempest. Repose you there, while I to this hard house, more harder than the stones whereof 'tis raised, which even but now demanding after you denied me to come in, return and force their scanted courtesy.
My wits begin to turn. Come on, my boy. How dost, my boy? Art cold? I am cold myself. Where is this straw, my fellow? The art of our necessities is strange and can make vile things precious. Come, your hovel. Poor fool and knave, I have one part in my heart that's sorry yet for thee.
He that has and a little tiny wit with hey ho, the wind and the rain must make content with his fortunes fit, though the rain it rains every day.
True, my boy. Come, bring us to this hovel.
This is a brave night to cool a courtesan. I'll speak a prophecy ere I go. When priests are more in word than matter, when brewers mar their malt with water, when nobles are their tailors' tutors, no heretics burned but wenches' suitors, when every case in law is right, no squire in debt nor no poor knight, when slanders do not live in tongues, nor cut purses come to throngs, when usurers tell their gold in the field, and bawds and whores do churches build, then shall the realm of Albion come to great confusion. Then comes the time who lives to see it, that going shall be used with fiat. This prophecy Merlin shall make, for I live before his time.
Alack, alack, Edmund, I like not this unnatural dealing. When I desired their leave that I might pity him, they took from me the use of mine own house, charged me on pain of perpetual displeasure, neither to speak of him, entreat for him, or any way sustain him.
Savage and unnatural.
Go to, say you nothing. There is division between the dukes, and a worse matter than that. I have received a letter this night. 'Tis dangerous to be spoken. I have locked the letter in my closet. These injuries the king now bears will be revenged home. There is part of a power already footed. We must incline to the king. I will look him and privily relieve him. Go you, and maintain talk with the Duke, that my charity be not of him perceived. If he asks for me, I am ill and gone to bed. If I die for it, as no less is threatened me, the king, my old master, must be relieved. There is strange things toward Edmund. Pray you, be careful.
This courtesy forbid thee shall the Duke instantly know, and of the letter too. This seems a fair deserving, and must draw me that which my father loses, no less than all. The younger rises when the old doth fall.
Here's the place, my lord. Good my lord, enter. The tyranny of the open night's too rough for nature to endure.
Let me alone.
Good my lord, enter here.
Wilt break my heart?
I'd rather break my own. Good my lord, enter.
Thou think'st 'tis much that this contentious storm invades us to the skin. So 'tis to thee. But where the greater malady is fixed, the lesser is scarce felt. Thou'dst shun a bear, but if thy flight lay toward a roaring sea, thou'dst meet the bear in the mouth. And the mind's free, the body's delicate. This tempest in my mind doth from my senses take my feelings, else gave what beats there. Filial ingratitude. Is it not as this mouth should tear this hand for lifting food to it? But I will punish home. Now I will weep no more. In such a night to shut me out? Pour on. I will endure. In such a night as this, oh, Regan gone around. Your old kind father, whose frank heart gave all. Oh, that way madness lies. Let me shun that, no more of that.
Good my lord, enter here.
Prithee, go in yourself, seek thine own ease. This tempest will not give me leave to ponder on things would hurt me more. But I'll go in, my boy. Go first, you homeless poverty. Nay, get thee in. I'll pray and then I'll sleep. Poor naked wretches, whosoever you are that bide the pelting of this piteous storm, how shall your houseless heads and unfed sides, your looped and windowed raggedness defend you from seasons such as these? Oh, I have taken too little care of this. Take physic, pomp. Expose thyself to feel what wretches feel, and thou mayst shake the superflux to them and show the heavens more just.
Father in have, poor Tom.
Not in here, nuncle. Here's a spirit. Help me, help me.
Give me that hand. Who's there?
A spirit. He says his name's poor Tom.
What art thou that dost grumble there in the straw? Come forth.
Away! The foul fiend follows me. Oh, to the sharp hawthorn blows the cold wind. Go to thy cold bed and warm thee.
Didst thou give all to thy daughters? And art thou come to this?
Who gives anything to poor Tom, whom the foul fiend hath led through fire and through flame, through ford and whirlpool, over dog and quagmire that hath laid knives under his pillow and halters in his pew, set rats bane by his porridge, made him proud of heart to ride on a bay, trotting horse over 4-inch bridges to course his own shadow for a traitor. Bless thy 5 wits. Oh, Tom's a cold. Oh, doody. Bless thee from whirlwinds, star blasting, and taking. Do poor Tom some charity, whom the foul fiend vexes. There could I have him now. And there, and there, and there.
As his daughters brought into this past, couldst thou save nothing? Wouldst thou give him all?
Nay, he reserved a blanket else we had all been shamed.
Now all the plagues that in the pendulous air hang fated, or men's faults like on thy daughters.
He hath no daughters, sir.
Death, traitor! Nothing could have subdued nature to such a lowness but this unkind daughters. Is it the fashion that discarded fathers should have thus little mercy on their flesh? No, a judicious punishment. 'Twas this flesh begot those pelican daughters.
Pillycock sat on Pillycock Hill, allow.
Oh, this cold night will turn us all to fools and madmen.
Take heed of the foul fiend. Obey thy parents, keep thy words justice, swear not, commit not with man's sworn spouse, set not thy sweet heart on proudery. Tom's a cold.
What hast thou been?
The serving men, proud in heart and mind, that curled my hair, wore gloves in my cap, served the lust of my mistress' heart, and did the act of darkness with her, swore as many oaths as I spake words, and broke them in the sweet face of heaven, one that slept in the contriving of lust, and waked to do it. Wine loved I deeply, dice dearly, and in woman out paramored the Turk, false of heart, light of ear, bloody of hand, hog and slaughter, fox in stealth, wolf in greediness, dog in madness, lion in prey. Let not the creaking of shoes nor the rustling of silks betray thy poor heart to woman. Keep thy foot out of brothels, thy hands out of plackets, thy pen from lenders' books, and defy the foul fiend. Still to the hawthorn blows the cold wind. Say some, Dauphin, my boy, c'est ça. Let him trot by.
Thou wert better in the grave than to answer with thy uncovered body this extremity of the skies. Is man no more than this? Consider him well. Thou owest the worm no silk, the beast no hide, the sheep no wool, the cat no perfume. Here's 3 ons are sophisticated. What the thing itself, unaccommodated man, is no more but such a poor bare-forked animal as his own art. Off, you leggings, come on, but near.
Oh, prithee, nuncle, be contented. 'Tis a naughty night to swim in. Oh, now, a little fire in a wild field were like an old lecher's heart, a small spark, all the rest on's body cold. Look, here comes a walking fire.
This is the foul fiend, Flibbertigibbet. He begins at curfew and walks to the first cock. He gives the web and the pen, squints the eye and makes the hare lip, mildews the white wheat and hurts the poor creature of earth. Swinhold footed thrice the ode. He meet the nightmare and her ninefold, bid her light and her trot plight, and run thee, which run thee.
How fares your grace?
What's he?
Who's there? Who is to speak? Who is to seek?
What are you there? Your names?
Poor Tom, that eats the swimming frog, the toad, the tadpole, the water newt in the water, that in the fury of his heart, when the foul fiend rages, eats cow dung for salads, swallows the old rat and the ditch dog, drinks the green mantle of the standing pool, who is whipped from tithing to tithing and stocked, punished, and imprisoned, who hath had 3 suits to his back, 6 shirts to his body, horse to ride, and weapon to wear, but mice and rats and such small deer have been Tom's food for 7 long years. Beware my follower. Peace, smoking peace, thou friend.
What? Hath your grace no better company?
The Prince of Darkness is a gentleman. Modo he's called, and Mahu.
Our flesh and blood, my lord, is grown so vile that it doth hate what it gets.
Poor Tom's a cold.
Go in with me. My duty cannot suffer. To obey in all your daughter's hard commands, though their injunctions be to bar my doors, and let this tyrannous night take hold upon you. Yet have I ventured to come seek you out and bring you where both fire and food is ready.
First, let me talk with this philosopher. What is the cause of thunder?
But my lord, take his offer, go into the house.
I'll talk a word with this same learned Theban. What is your study?
How to prevent the fiend and to kill vermin.
Let me ask you one word in private.
Importune him once more to go, my lord. His wits begin to unsettle.
Canst thou blame him? His daughters seek his death. Ah, that good Kent. She said it would be thus. Poor banished man. Thou sayest the king grows mad. I tell thee, friend, I am almost mad myself. I had a son, now outlawed from my blood. He sought my life, but lately, very late, I loved him, friend. No father his son dearer, true to tell thee. The grief hath crazed my wits. What a night's this! I do beseech your grace.
Oh, cry you mercy, sir. Noble philosopher, your company.
Tom's a cold.
In fellow, there, into the hovel. Keep thee warm. Lear, come. Let's in all.
This way, my lord.
With him? I will keep still with this philosopher.
Good my lord, soothe him. Let him take the fella.
Take him you on.
Sir, come on. Go with us.
Come, good Athenian.
No words, no words. Hush.
Childe Roland to the dark tower came. His word was still. Fie, foe, and fum. I smelt the blood of an Englishman.
I will have my revenge ere I depart his house.
How, my lord, I may be censured, that nature thus gives way to loyalty. Something fears me to think of.
Well, I now perceive it was not altogether your brother's evil disposition made him seek his death, but a provoking merit, set to work by a reprovable badness in himself.
How malicious is my fortune that I must repent to be just. This is the letter he spoke of, which approves him in an intelligent party to the advantages of France. Oh, heavens, that this treason were not, nor I the detector.
Go with me to the Duchess.
If the matter of this paper be certain, you have mighty business in hand.
True or false, it hath made thee Earl of Gloucester. Seek out where thy father is, that he may be ready for our apprehension.
If I find him comforting the king, it will stuff his suspicion more fully. I will persevere in my course of loyalty, though the conflict be sore between that and my blood.
I will lay trust upon thee, and thou shalt find a dearer father in my love.
Here is better than the open air. Take it thankfully. I will piece out the comfort with what addition I can. I will not be long from you.
All the power of his wits had given way to his impatience. The gods reward your kindness.
Fraterato calls me and tells me Nero is an angler in the lake of darkness. Pray, innocent, and beware the foul fiend.
Prithee, Nuncle, tell me whether a madman be a gentleman or a yeoman.
Oh, a king, a king.
No, he's a yeoman that has a gentleman to his son, for he's a mad yeoman that sees him as a gentleman before him.
12,000 with red burning spits come hissing upon him.
Oh, the foul fiend bites my back.
He's mad that trusts in the tameness of a wolf, a horse's health, a boy's love, or a whore's oath.
It shall be done. I'll arrange them straight. Oh, well, come, sit thou here, most learned justice. Thou sapient sir, sit here. Now you, she-foxes.
Look, where he stands and glares. Once thou eyes at trial, madam. Come o'er the burn, Bessie, to me.
Her boat hath a leak, and she must not speak. Why she dares come over to thee.
The foul fiend hunts poor Tom in the voice of a nightingale. Habitants cries in Tom's belly for 2 white herring. Croak not, black angel, I have no food for thee.
How do you, sir? Stand you not so amazed? Will you lie down and rest upon the cushions?
I'll see their trial first. Bring in their evidence. Thou, robed man of justice, take thy place. And thou, his yoke fellow of equity, bench by his side. You, or the commission, sit you here.
Let us deal justly. Sleepest awakest, thou jolly shepherd, thy sheep be in the corn. And for one blast of thy many cannot, thy sheep shall take no harm. Purr, the cat is gray.
Arraign her first, 'tis Goneril. I here take my oath before this honorable assembly did kick the poor king her father.
Bum, 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 bum. Come hither, mistress. Is your name Goneril?
She cannot deny it.
Oh, cry you mercy, I took you for a joint stool.
And here's another whose warped looks proclaim that store her heart is made of. Stop her there, arms, sword, fire, corruption in the place. False justicer, why hast thou let her escape?
Bless thy 5 wits.
Oh, pity. Sir, where is the patience now that you so oft have boasted to retain?
My tears begin to take his part so much, they mar my counterfeiting.
The little dogs in Altre, Blanche and Sweetheart see, they bark at me.
Tom will throw his head at them. Avaunt, you curs! Be thy mouth or black or white, tooth that poisons if it bite, mastiff, greyhound, mongrel, grim, hound or spaniel, back or limb of bobtail, tyke or trundle-tail, Tom, make him weep and well, for with throwing thus my head, dogs leap the hatch, and all are fled. Doody, doody, sa-sa! Come, march to eggs and fairs and market towns. Oh, poor Tom, thy horn is dry.
Then let them anatomize Reagan. See what breeds about her heart. Is there any cause in nature that makes these hard hearts? You, sir, I entertain for one of your 100. Only, I do not like the fashion of your garments. You say they are Persian, but let them be changed.
Now, good my lord, lie here and rest a while.
Shh, make no noise, make no noise. Draw the curtain, so we'll go to supper in the morning.
And I'll go to bed at noon.
Come hither, friend. Where is the king, my master?
Here, sir, but trouble him not. His wits are gone.
Good friend, I prithee, take him in thy arms. I have overheard a plot of death upon him. There is a litter ready, lay him in it, and drive toward Dover, friend, where thou shalt meet both welcome and protection. Take up thy master. If thou shouldest dally half an hour, his life with thine and all that offer to defend him stand in assured loss. Take up, and follow me. That will to some provision give thee quick conduct.
Oppressed nature sleeps. This rest might yet balm thy broken sinews, which, if convenience will not allow, stand in hard cure. Come, help to bear thy master. Thou must not stay behind.
Come away.
When we our better see bearing our woes, we scarcely think our miseries our foes. Who alone suffers most in the mind, leaving free things and happy shows behind. But then the mind much sufferance doth o'erskip, when grief hath mates in bearing fellowship. How light and portable my pain seems now, when that which makes me bend makes the king bow. Be childed as I fathered. Talk away. Mark the high noises, and thyself bewray when false opinion, whose wrong thoughts defile thee, and thy just proof repels and reconciles thee. What will hap more tonight? Safe scape the king. Lurk, lurk.
Post speedily to my lord your husband, show him this letter. The army of France has landed. Seek out the traitor Gloucester.
Hang him instantly.
Pluck out his eyes.
Leave him to my displeasure. Edmund, keep you our sister company. The revenges we are bound to take upon your traitorous father are not fit for your beholding. Advise the Duke where you are going to a most festinate preparation. We are bound to the like. Our posts shall be swift and intelligent betwixt us. Farewell, dear sister. Farewell, my lord of Gloucester. How now, where's the king?
My lord of Gloucester has conveyed him hence, some 5 or 36 of his knights. Hot questionance after him, met him at the gate, who with other of the lord's dependents are gone with him toward Dover, where they boast to have well-armed friends.
Get horses for your mistress.
Farewell, sweet lord and sister.
Edmund, farewell. Go seek the traitor Gloucester. Pinion him like a thief. Bring him before us. Though well we may not pass upon his life without the form of justice, yet our power shall do a curtsy to our wrath, which men may blame, but not control. Who's there, the traitor?
Ingrateful fox.
Bind fast his corky arms.
What means your graces? Good, my friends, consider you are my guests. Do me no foul play, friends.
Bind him, I say.
Hard, oh filthy traitor.
I'm merciful lady as you are. I'm none.
To this chair bind him. Villain, thou shalt find.
By the kind gods, 'tis mostly nobly done to pluck me by the beard.
So
white and such a traitor.
Naughty lady, these hairs which thou dost ravish from my chin will quicken and accuse thee. I am your host. With robbers' hands, my hospitable favors, you should not ruffle us. What will you do?
Come, sir, what letters had you late from France?
Be simple answered, for we know the truth.
And what confederacy have you with the traitors late-footed in the kingdom?
To whose hands you have sent the lunatic king? Speak.
I have a letter guessingly set down, which came from one that's of a neutral heart, and not from one opposed.
Cunning.
And false.
Where hast thou sent the king?
To Dover.
Wherefore to Dover? Wast thou not at peril?
Wherefore to Dover? Let him answer that.
I am tied to the stake. I must stand the course.
Wherefore to Dover?
Because I would not see thy cruel nails pluck out his poor old eyes, nor the fierce sister in his anointed flesh stick boorish fangs. The sea, with such a storm as his bare head in hell black night endured, would have buoyed up and quenched the stellied fires. Yet, poor old heart, he hoped the heavens to rain. If wolves had at thy gate howled that stern time, thou shouldst have said, good porter, turn the key. All cruels else subscribe. But I shall see the winged vengeance overtake such children.
See it. Shalt thou never? Fellows, hold the chair. Upon these eyes of thine, I'll set my foot.
Aye, he that will think to live till he be old, give me some help. Ah, of course, you gods. Oh, you gods.
One side will mock another, the other two.
You see vengeance.
My lord, I have served you ever since I was a child, but better service have I never done than now to bid you whole.
Come now, you dog.
If you did wear a beard upon your chin, I'd shake it in this quarrel. What do you mean?
My villain.
Nay, then come on and take the chance of anger.
Give me thy sword. A peasant stand up thus?
I am slain. Oh, my lord, you have one eye left to see the mystery.
Lest it see more. Prevent it. Out, vile jelly! Where is thy luster now?
Oh, God, providence! Where's my son, Edmund? Edmund, enkindle all the sparks of nature to quit this horrid act!
Out, treacherous villain! Most on him that hates thee. It was he that made the overture of thy treasons to us, who is too good to pity.
Oh, my follies! Then Edgar was abused. Kind gods, forgive me that, and prosper him.
Go thrust him out at gates and let him smell his way to Dover. How is it, my lord? How look you?
I have received a hurt. Follow me, lady. Turn out that eyeless villain. Throw this slave upon the dunghill. Regan, I bleed apace. Untimely comes this hurt. Give me your arm.
I'll never care what wickedness I do if this man come to good.
If she live long and in the end meet the own course of death, women will all turn to monsters.
Let's follow the old Earl and get the Bedlam to lead him where he would. His roguish madness allows itself to anything.
Go thou. I'll fetch some flax and eggs of white to apply to his bleeding face. Now heaven help him.